bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. All right, let's move forward, boys and girls. Let's talk a little defense, man. This is the first time I've seen this pop up. So PFSN over on X, all right, they have roughly 60,000 followers, pretty big account, right? The top NFL defenses in Week 12, according to PFSN's Defense Impact metric, okay? And I'm sure they take a multitude of things into consideration here, so you can go check it out over at pfsn.app/NFL defense. But at the top of the list, the grade that they give the Green Bay Packers defense, Tim, 93.2 is the grade. The Rams second at 88.9. Houston Texans third at 87.5. Atlanta Falcons at 86.2. And then the Raiders at 84.5, which really surprised me. Of course, their offense is cheeks out there, if I remember correctly. 84.4 for the Cleveland Browns, a team that was able to upset us earlier in the season, but we talked about them being one of the better defenses in the league. So, again, Green Bay grading out 93.2. It's not really close, man. You're talking about almost a 5-point lead over the second place defense here, according to this metric. If you were to kind of rank Green Bay's defense, would you say they're the top defense in the league? Do you feel like they're top 5? Where would you put them at, man?
Definitely top 5 and trending towards that number 1 spot, I think. I mean, we talked about championship level defense after that Vikings game. We got to see it on full display. You know, tomorrow's going to be another test. You know, banged up or not, Detroit is no joke. You're playing in their building. I think we're going to get another great performance, but I would easily put us in that top 5. And maybe that's me being a bit of a homer and a huge fan of what Jeff Hafley and DeMarcus Covington and, you know, Coach Ogabasi and the boys are doing over there. Shout out to the Ball King. We're starting to get those turnovers. It's starting to happen. This is when you want to play your best ball down the stretch, heading into a playoff berth and hopefully a Super Bowl run. So I think top 5 easily, trending towards that number 1 spot for sure.
Yeah. And it's interesting to see how other people kind of look at defense. You know, they put more stock in different metrics. And like I said, you guys can go click on that link and check it out for yourself and see exactly how they come up with it. I love looking at differing opinions and kind of comparing it and contrast to what we see. As Corey Murphy says, he thinks they're at least top 3. That's right. J. Cole says Browns number 1. All right. Kyle Andretti says top 5 for sure for the Packers defense. So when you look at our PTA rankings here, right? As Jerry pointed out, yeah, Denver's missing. I noticed that too because, and again, we don't know exactly what they're taking into consideration here, but it might have a lot to do with turnover differential as well or takeaways because that's something that they've struggled at a little bit. But when you look at the defensive points per play, so defensive scoring for me, I've got the Rams 1, Broncos 2, Texans 3, Green Bay 4, and then Indianapolis 5 in terms of defensive points per play allowed. Seattle kind of tied with them too, sitting in the number 5 spot. Notice we didn't say the Detroit Lions, right? You've got to get all the way down to 12th to find the Lions in terms of scoring defense. So they've struggled a bit. I mean, they're still top half of the league, but definitely not top 10 in that regard. Now, when you jump over to defensive yards per play allowed, and we sort by that metric, we've got Denver 1, so that agrees with you there, Jerry, right? And then we've got Houston 2. Green Bay is tied for second best as well. Now, we pointed out earlier today on the pod, the show that we did earlier, live stream here on YouTube, that the Packers are actually leading in yards per pass attempt allowed. They're tied with the Houston Texans for first there. So when you take all these metrics into consideration, Tim, you're talking about scoring defense 4th, yards per play allowed second, and then turnover margin, of course, as a team is not. So our takeaways are much, much lower, unfortunately. So I think we're a top 5 defense is where I would put us, man. I feel comfortable saying top 5. I can understand if someone disagrees that Green Bay is 3. I don't think I agree with this metric here where they say they're first, although I'm all about it. I love it. I hope I'm wrong there, right? So that's kind of how I see the defense ranking. But I think turnovers, man, got to get more turnovers. Got to do it, you know?
Yeah. This hopefully tomorrow's the game, right? You know, takeaways, create turnovers, man.
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned that too, because there's a matchup that we may see a couple times tomorrow. We'll see how everything unfolds and where they line up Micah Parsons. But this right here shaping up to be a dandy. All right. So we have PFF tweeting out Penei Sewell and Micah Parsons are set to put on a Thanksgiving show. So Penei Sewell's overall defensive grade, according to PFF, is a 95.9, right? Micah Parsons is overall defensive grade is a 91.8. Now, Micah's got 10 sacks. Penei Sewell has not allowed a sack according to PFF. Now, like Ryan pointed out, however, you look at Micah's pass rush grade, and it's like a 91, 90, 91-ish, something like that, if I remember correctly. Penei Sewell's pass blocking grade is like a 77. Now, he's an elite run blocker, but his pass blocking, still 77 is good, don't get me wrong. I feel like him and Zach Tom, if people want to say Penei Sewell's a better right tackle than Zach Tom, I can understand that argument. I think sometimes Zach Tom's better than him. Sometimes he's better than Zach Tom. But I think they're two top 5 tackles, in my opinion, especially right tackles, possibly top 3 right tackles. But this matchup right here, bro, is going to be a lot of fun to watch, man. It's going to be so much fun to watch. I can't wait to see them lined up over each other because people were trying to convince us Christian Darrisaw was just going to blank him. And, he got blanked.
What happened there?
Micah Parsons beat him like a drum all day long, man. So what do you think about this matchup here, man, if we do end up seeing it? Because it's going to be Gary or Micah on Penei Sewell all day long, right?
I like either of those, honestly. But I do feel like Detroit's going to try and run. So we have to key in on the run fit in this game. If we're able to contain that running attack from Detroit, we got a real good chance at winning this ball game handily. But yeah, like you said, in pass pro, I'll take Micah over Penei Sewell. Actually, that might be the matchup to really watch in this game, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go to the chat, see what everybody's saying here. So Joe Pack Joe says Micah cooked Penei Sewell week 1 with PFF smoking. So yeah, I mean, that first game of the season, man. And Micah was he hadn't practiced in a while.
Yeah, Micah was at like 65%. Somewhere around that, 60, 65.
65%.
65%. That's what
now he's at 100%. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun to watch it unfold, man. Let's go back to the chat here. Remarkable, I hope I'm saying that right. A top 3 or top 5 defense can win a Super Bowl. Absolutely. Amen. It just so happened the Packers had the best defense in the league. And again, it depends on what metric you looked at, but they were known as or recognized as the best defense in the league in 96 when they won the Super Bowl. And they were the best defense in the league in 2010 when they won the Super Bowl. So you want to get as close to that number 1 spot as possible. But I completely agree with what's said here, Tim. Top 5 is good enough to win a championship, and especially if you get hot at the right moment.
Amen. I agree 100%. Hell, even a top 10, you could argue. If you've got a defense, within the top 10 and you're executing and getting it done, you got a chance to bring home a Lombardi. But top 5 for sure, you've got a chance to get it done.
Yeah. Ron Sample in the chat says Penei Sewell can't single pass block Parsons. I don't know if anybody can, to be honest with you. I mean, you're seeing 3 guys block him at once. It's wild to see how much resources they allocate to stopping Micah. Not So Cool says, I'll leave Sewell on Micah one and one then. All right, got it. So that's going to be one of the matchups to watch for, man. It's definitely going to be one of the matchups to watch for. I'm excited to see exactly how Micah and really Jeff Hafley approaches attacking this defense or this offense, because Jared Goff, I feel like he's a top 10 quarterback, and we'll dive into those numbers here in a second. I feel like he's a top 10 quarterback. Jahmyr Gibbs is, 1 week he's playing like the best running back in the league. The next week you'd say he's top 15, right? But he is definitely one of the better running backs in the National Football League. So you got to be careful with his explosiveness, his ability to hit those home runs. But at the same time, you want to get after Goff as much as possible. It kind of feels like, for me, you get into passing situations, drop 7 into coverage, and bring that nickel 3-3-5 Joker 1, and let's just push the middle of that pocket right into Jared Goff's lap. That's what I feel like should be the pass rush game plan tomorrow. Now, they're going to see that on tape from Minnesota, right, where we just dominated. They're going to see that on tape, and they're going to try to allocate resources to stop that. So maybe it's time to see a Micah little jab step off the Joker 1 and actually drop into coverage and fire a nickel off the opposite side or something, right? You might get a little creative in that regard, but I really do feel like play the run until Jared Goff proves he can beat you with the pass. So I don't know how you see it with that. And when we look at the rankings here, just to get a little cross-reference, points per play in terms of offense, Detroit's actually 3rd in the league in points per play, right? Yards per play, they're ranked 3rd as well. So They're still a potent offense. There's no two ways about it. It's just their pass blocking suspect, and they're really, really good at running the ball right now. So
I would anticipate that's their game plan. Try and build it through the run game, and then they're going to try and, we've called him check down Charlie before. That might be a little disrespectful, but Jared Goff, can get it done. But I think all it's going to take is one-on-one Micah on Penei Sewell, and Micah beating him once or twice before they're going to start sending chips and help over there in the pass game for sure. So I still believe that it's how well we defend the run is going to determine, the outcome of this ball game for us from a defensive standpoint.
Yeah, 2-0 for this says, I think McDuffie will be pivotal in stopping Gibbs, especially if they go to a lot of 12 and 21, right? I think they play 12 more than 21, obviously, but if they get into some of those base sets, McDuffie's going to play a big role. If Quay's good to go, now if Quay's not good to go, then maybe Tyron Hopper might end up being a little bit of the X factor there as well, which I felt like he held his own last week. He graded out really well, and nothing popped on tape to me to go, oh, bad move there, or maybe he got manhandled. I did not see any of that at all. So all right, so there you go. Penei Sewell versus Micah Parsons. If you're watching this video back later, let us know what you think about that matchup. Do you think Micah has the advantage? Do you think Penei Sewell come out on top? Do you think they'll even be matched up? Maybe it'll be something where Hapley keeps him away from Sewell and just let him eat off the left side, or like we said, blitz him from that Joker one spot. Let us know in the comments what you think, and make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. All right, Tim.